Want to do the intro?
Okay.
Can you do it?
5 times, maybe. This part stresses me out.
The Pappy Van Winkle line is the most... Bleh.
Take 2.
The Pappy Van Winkle line is the most popular American whiskey. The Pappy Van Winkle line is the most popular American whiskey. Just do it.
The Pappy Van Winkle line is the most popular American whiskey brand in the world, and we have a bottle of their 2024 Family Reserve Rye. And if you want to see if it's worth the hype, then stick around. All right, pretty girl, per the new policy, we have to tell the people where the bottle came from. And this one, I won at a raffle.
Fair and square.
Fair and square. So Apollo Liquor, who is kind of a partner store for our whiskey club, Someone Say Whiskey, we go to help them with their annual raffle. And it's one of those camp out type situations. I concentrated my purchases on their single barrels, and there was the tequila you really love. So I bought a bunch of bottles of their single barrel tequila and got first pick in the raffle and picked this up. There's about 70 people standing there that knew that I was helping to run the raffle. They were like, wait a minute, was this rigged?
No. We do buy our tickets fair and
Fair
square.
and square. And I did open the bottle and let about the last 10 people try it before we left. So that's how we got the bottle. So let's talk a little bit about this release. It was first created and released in 1999. Julian Van Winkle had been sourcing whiskey from his family's legacy distillery that had shut down called Stitzelweller. But the rye whiskey that he released was actually not from Stitzelweller. It was from a different distillery called Medley, and it was 13 years old. The Medley distillery also shut down, just like Stitzelweller, but is reopened and is now called Green River.
Okay.
And the Stitzelweller distillery has reopened, or at least a new facility is open on its property, and that is Bullet Bourbon.
Okay.
And you've been there. So
I really like it there.
yeah, so it continued to just be Medley liquid until 2004, and then they realized they were going to run out and they hadn't been making it, and so Julian was able to source whiskey from another distillery called Old Bernheim, and they had distilled some rye whiskey for the brand Cream of Kentucky. So in the industry, when they talk about this time frame, they call it the Cream of Kentucky rye, although the rye was never released under that name. Apparently it was made for that brand, and for whatever reason, they ended up not taking it. So between 2013 and 16, it's kind of a mystery of what the liquid was, but most people believe that it was a blend of what was left over from the Medley distillate and the Cream of Kentucky that had come from Old Bernheim, and potentially some Buffalo Trace liquid, because at that point they had partnered with Buffalo Trace. So much of the whiskey from 2005 to 2016 was probably a lot older than 13 years, because when they got it, it was 13, and then they were just kind of hanging on to some of the stock. But in 2017 is when it became all Buffalo Trace distillate. And since ours is from 2024, we know that everything in this bottle came from Buffalo Trace. And it is likely the same mash bill as all of the other Buffalo Trace ryes, like Sazerac, except for E.H. Taylor. E.H. Taylor rye has its own mash bill. So that's what we're dealing with. So the distillery for this is Buffalo Trace Distillery, but the brand is obviously I think it's under Old Rip Van Winkle. Yeah, Old Rip Van Winkle Distillery. But it's a Van Winkle line, obviously. The SKU is Van Winkle Family Reserve Rye 2024. The age is 13 years. The proof is 95.6 proof. The SRP is $200, although we paid an extra $10. Do you know why we paid an extra $10?
I'm sure you told me, and I...
No, this is kind of a misunderstanding for people, is that when you go to a large retail store like a Total Wine, often the prices are just a few dollars less than when you go to a small locally owned liquor store. And that is usually because the locally owned liquor store doesn't get it for the same price as the big store, because they don't get the volume discounts. And often the small stores charge a couple of extra margin points. And so even though the publicized SRP for this is $200, $210 was the normal markup for the store. So they weren't just trying to rip anybody off. The size is 750 ml. And what do you say we taste it up?
Let's do it.
So I would like to point out for all of you viewers at home that we now have an aroma kit that when the lid is open, the logo is the correct direction for you all. So if you have tuned into any of our old reviews, our old aroma kit was oriented so that the user would see the logo right side up when they were opening it, but it made it upside down for you all. So I literally took a new box, sanded it down, refinished it, and used our laser to put the logo on upside down so that you guys would stop being annoyed.
Although I'm annoyed now that it's a lighter color than our aroma kits are when you order them online.
You know how when you
So
first
there's
stain wood, it looks darker than it actually ends up being? That's what happened. I thought it was the same color, but it's a shade
It's
lighter.
not.
So if you buy one, it'll be just a
It'll be
couple
much
shades
darker.
darker. Not much, just a couple shades. You pointed at this table. This is dark.
There's light colors in here.
Oh, yeah, but I don't know that they can see that. But good call, good call. All right, let's see. Let's see what the tasting notes are. What do you got?
I'm feeling like apricot-y, even though it's not in our kit. Like,
The closest we have is peach. And it's not
apricot or close.
It's not quite peach.
Is it apricot or apricot?
I don't know. But I would agree that I'm getting the fruit note being apricot. What's the sweet note that you're
I get a lot of honey. Where's honey?
31.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like this is very heavy on the honey.
Yeah, but not like, it's not syrupy. It's not like,
No, not that it's sweet like honey.
it's really,
But
it's nice.
the sweet flavor is more of a honey note than caramel to me. Because it's a weird thing to say, but honey is a sweet flavor that tastes a little dirty to me. You know what I'm saying? It's a little more earthy of a sweet flavor. And this has a little bit more of that earth. In fact, I think that this has a hint of a leather note for me, which people may not agree with, but at 13 years, that's quite a lot of age, a lot of barrel exposure. So there's a little bit of a more earthy, musty that I would characterize in the directional leather.
But the spiciness reminds me of like an orange simmering in spices on the stove. You know, I do that for the fall. So it's like a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of nutmeg.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I would say nutmeg for sure. It'd be weird if it didn't have any of that spice since it's a rye.
I mean, not so much clove, but like nutmeg for sure. Maybe a little cinnamon.
Yeah, nutmeg. A hint of cinnamon. The cinnamon's not strong,
It's not like a red hot.
but it's definitely in there.
I like it a lot.
I actually like it more than I thought that I would. I've had the Van Winkle Family Reserve Rye from previous years and was not really a fan. Sometimes with these higher age ryes, they start to have this petrol kind of burnt tire flavor. I get it some on like Sazerac 18, Lock, Stock, and Barrel 16. And I've tasted it before in the Family Reserve Rye. And this doesn't really have that. Although it is a little light for me at 95.6 proof. I would like a little bit more oomph on the palate.
I've been drinking 80 proof tequila for about 3 months.
Right.
So this is okay for me right now.
Yeah. So how would you rate this bad boy on a scale of 100?
On the Lindsay Yepper Nober scale, it's a Yepper.
It's a Yepper. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this guy. I don't think I'm gonna go quite in the A category.
Okay.
I'm gonna give this like an 88 or an 89.
I think that's fair. I would agree with that.
Which is shockingly low considering how hard it is to get this bottle. But like I said, it's just a little bit light on the palate. Would you rate it a buy or a pass at $200?
I think if you can get that bottle for $200, you should definitely get it.
Yeah, and it's not because this is $200 flavor. It's because this is $2,000 experience. Does that make sense? Right. And, you know, if you can get this bottle at SRP, and you can open it and share it with people who know what it is, you're going to really be able to create some great memories with it. So, of course, you would buy this at SRP.
I mean, there are some that we've had that I'm just like, I wouldn't pour that again. You know, like,
Yeah.
but I do really like it.
No, it's definitely palatable. But would I pay anywhere near secondary for this? No. Based on flavor, no. It's not like a George T. Stagg where I like it so much that if I didn't get the chance to buy one at retail, I might consider paying far above retail to get access to it because I just want to drink it that bad. It's not like that. This is one that it's a definite buy at SRP, but I don't know that I'd be going nuts for it on the secondary or anything like that, even if I couldn't find it.
I don't have any favorite whiskeys that are very expensive, so
Right.
I don't have anything to compare it to.
So what do you say we give away some whiskey?
Yep.
All right. So what we're going to do on this one, I think I mentioned that the mash bill for all of the ryes at Buffalo Trace are the same except for E.H. Taylor. And so I have some pretty awesome ryes. We're running a little bit low on this size 18. So this is going to be a half-ounce sample pack. So you're going to get 1/2 an ounce of the Van Winkle Family Reserve Rye, half ounce of the Sazerac 18, and 1/2 an ounce of Thomas Handy, which is probably my favorite rye. And so there's going to be 3 winners. Each one of you will get 1/2 ounce of each one of these bottles. And all you have to do to enter to win is subscribe to the channel, like this video, ring the bell because the bell will notify you of future content pieces. And there's going to be a free giveaway in every piece of content. So you might want to get consistent about checking out the channel when we post new things. But most importantly, you have to go to the video description below and you have to click expand to see further down in the description, but there is a link that says free giveaway. You click that, give us your basic contact details. We will run a randomizer, post the results publicly for accountability, reach out to the winner, get your address, and ship you your samples absolutely for free. If you like this content and you want to consider supporting the channel, you could check out our Patreon. We got a lot of member benefits. It's not just a one-way street. We have discounts on merchandise. We have bonus content. We do occasional curated whiskey trips where we'll go to a distillery. We usually pick a barrel while we're there. Monthly virtual bottle shares and a lot of other benefits. So check that out. We also have merchandise that Pretty Girl helped to source.
Yep.
And
And pack and ship when it gets crazy.
that is true. That is true.
all of the things.
She does all the things. And we are offering more customization these days. So there's opportunities for you to customize your whiskey merchandise to take your whiskey room to the next level. And everything was curated by whiskey people for whiskey people. So you should find something that you feel like you can't live without. And last but not least, I am a residential real estate agent, and the real estate company has subsidized this channel since its inception. And one good way to support would be to interview me if you need residential real estate services in the Dallas or Houston metro areas. And I will warn you, I give epic allocated bottles as closing gifts to anybody who reaches out to me. Yeah, you get to pick. Yeah, for sure. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, we'd like to tell you a little bit about our show philosophy and why we do what we do. We're all about bringing people together around whiskey. And using whiskey as a conduit for connection is something that became important to me after I lost my brother to suicide. And I saw that he had lost some of the social connections that keep people bound to this world. And I saw at the same time as I got more involved in the whiskey world, how whiskey was helping to rapidly create those kinds of connections. And I thought maybe if I could get you connected to whiskey, the whiskey would do the rest of the job and get you connected with others. And so we started this channel, but we also started Bourbon Real Talk Community, which is a free Facebook-based online whiskey forum. You can go join right now. And lots of great things going on in there, a lot of community, a lot of sharing, a lot of things just outside of whiskey information. We do fundraisers and whatnot. And it was so successful that we were able to start a suicide prevention nonprofit called Live Stay Project that's 100% administered inside the whiskey community. All of the board came from Bourbon Real Talk, and so it's pretty awesome we were able to do that. We knew we needed to create some of our own forums and things like that because there is a lot of negativity out there in some of the online forums. But that negativity taught us that if a stranger can show hate to you online, there's nothing that keeps us from loving you online. And that's why we end every episode the same way, and that's this. If you woke up this morning and you're unsure whether or not anyone loved you, just know that we love you. We'll see you next time on Bourbon Real Talk. Cheers.
Oh, it's so hot in here. Okay.
It's because you're in here.
It's because it's 85 degrees in it.
All I know is I was in here by myself and I was perfectly comfortable, and then you came in and now I'm a little warm. Must be because you're hot. I don't know. All right, ready?
Oh, so hot. Can we turn the air down?
Yeah.